Welcome back to our course on generational trauma. You're joining Laura Foster with Souls Healing Humanity, and this is module number 2, signs that you're carrying shit that's not even yours. Yes, motherfuckers, let's get right to it. As a quick review, I define trauma as anything that your system has not processed. And I define generational trauma is that it's shit and unresolved drama and trauma from your lineage, from your family, otherwise known as bullshit programming and conditioning. Yeah, and newsflash, baby, we've all had it, so don't feel bad. You are not alone. Oh, gosh. But one of the things that I do hear a lot is, but Laura, you know what? I didn't really have a bad childhood. Maybe I don't have any of this generational trauma. As I said, we've all had it. I call it your bullshit programming and conditioning. So if you're falling into the camp where you're like, oh, you've talked yourself into like, I didn't really have a bad childhood, didn't have any war or like a murder in my family or anything like that. But did you hear things growing up like, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about? Yeah, I'm 56 years old, so I grew up hearing that a lot. Did you hear things like, you need to do better at school? You were only rewarded when you were achieving something, getting the gold star, getting A's, getting B's, being on honor roll. Were you given conditional love? Or you really were only given love when you were doing the right thing? These are all signs of generational trauma. And another big one is, were all of your emotions honored and accepted in your family? Like I said, I grew up hearing, stop crying or I'm going to give you something to cry about. Man, we've all had it, baby. So welcome to the trauma club. Yeah, we meet every Tuesday. We drink a lot of wine. We eat inappropriate food. We're crying to ourselves. And we're pretending like everything's okay. And we're showing each other our fabulous life on Instagram, which incidentally, social media is a great mortician. But that's a whole other topic. Oh my goodness. One of the things that's really different about Souls Healing Humanity and what we do here is we do not play the blame game. By no means. And we stop living in victimhood. And I will teach you how to do that, share my journey, because baby, I lived in victimhood for years. I probably have my crown for being queen of the victimhood. And I blamed everybody else. It was always somebody else's fault until I realized it was really about me. I'll get you there. Don't worry. So we've all had this generational trauma stuff. So you're starting to understand that, even if you didn't have a bad childhood. And you're going, all right, I'm with you, Laura. I've had that shit. I've had the bullshit programming and conditioning. What can I do about it? That's where the beauty of the holistic scaffolding technology comes in. And don't worry, you're not going to have to pay for it. As I said, everything I offer you is free, really free. And I'm going to teach you the entire, all six platforms in this course. We will get there. But for right now, there's some people out there and you feel like you're in crisis right now and you really want to do something right now and learn something in this module that can help you. So I'm going to teach you your very first wisdom wand. And you may be wondering, what the fuck is a wisdom wand? Hang with me, baby. I want you to think about this analogy. I want you to think about the beautiful sculpture of David that Michelangelo constructed. And there's this quote, I can't quote it, I always fucking mess it up. But Michelangelo talked about David was underneath the sculpture. All he had to do was to chip away the granite, and David was there. It's a beautiful analogy of what's going on with you right now. Your true self, your unconditional love, your badass motherfucker, your soul, your spirit, that is your David. But it's underneath the generational trauma, the bullshit programming and conditioning that has encased you in a life that you're leading. It's been designed by somebody else, from their trauma, from their drama, from their programming. It's stuff, a lot of the stuff you're carrying is not even yours. So here's where the holistic scaffolding comes in. Holistic scaffolding is your platform. There are 6 platforms to it, and we'll get there. And that's what allows you to go up and down the different platforms in your wisdom wands and your wisdom nuggets that I teach you along the way. Those are your chisels. Those are your tools. Now, you don't need an expensive guru. My passion is to give this holistic scaffolding technology to as many humans that are ready. You become your own guru. So let's get in to your first wisdom wand that I call the recycled shit detector. Yeah. The very first platform of the holistic scaffolding is awareness. And I say it all the time. You cannot change what you do not see. It's a wisdom nugget for you. Let me say it again. You cannot change what you do not see. So sit down, get in a quiet spot. If you're a journaler like I am, you may want some paper and a couple of pens. Yeah, I have a pen addiction, by the way. I probably have like 2,000 pens. So that's a whole nother topic for another day. But as you work through this wisdom wand, the recycled shit detector, you're probably going to want to jot some things down. So I want you to ask yourself, what are the things that you heard growing up that shaped your beliefs, how you see yourself when it comes to success, when it comes to love, when it comes to money, when it comes to your self-worth? What did you hear? Just start writing and scripting those down. You know, for example, you may have heard, oh, we don't air our dirty laundry in this family. You may have heard, oh, you have to work twice as hard because you're a girl. You may have heard, boys don't like girls that wear glasses. You may have heard, boys don't like chubby girls. You may have heard, don't rely on anybody but yourself. You can't trust anybody. I'm just spitting out examples that are coming to my mind. Just start recording those for yourself. And take a look at that list. And you may do this over several days. Baby, I'm never going to tell you exactly what to do. I'm just going to give you things that have worked for me and for others along the way. So you may go back to that list and then ask yourself, are those things, are they true? Or am I just recycling somebody else's unresolved drama and trauma that they had in their lifetime? Okay. Now I know some of this shit can really be overwhelming. I get it. Once you start to see the programming and the shit that you're carrying that's not even yours, it can make you feel like diving into an entire tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream and saying, fuck it, I'm just going to be fat. It's okay. Allow allow for that, by the way. We're going to get there with that as well. I don't want you to worry. We're not trying to solve and to heal 17 generations of bullshit programming and conditioning all at once in a single module. We're not going to try to do that. It's okay. But one layer at a time, one truth at a time, one wisdom wand at a time, you will get there. That's the magic of the holistic scaffolding. This isn't a rigid, the holistic scaffolding is not a rigid program. I say all the time, I'm not your next fucking guru. I want you to be your own guru. The holistic scaffolding is a living framework that will help you at your own pace. It meets you where you are and it evolves with you so you can clear the bullshit programming and conditioning that is ruling your life. And yes, the wisdom wands and the wisdom nuggets, go back to the analogy of David. Those are your tools that chip away at your programming. Now, you may enjoy the recycled shit wisdom wand detector that I just taught you, and it may not align with where you are right now. There's no hard and fast rule around which wisdom wand or nugget is going to help you. That's okay. I present as many of them as I can in all of my teachings, because there's going to be certain ones you're going to be like, oh yeah. And I really don't want you to think that I'm preaching from this mountaintop and I have like all the answers. I don't. What I do have is the experience of unfucking my own life, clearing a ton of generational trauma, bullshit programming and conditioning. And that's my mission and wish for you, is that you clear enough of your trauma, drama, generational trauma, bullshit, that you know your true self. Then you can design a life for you, by you. So I'm going to drop another real quick wisdom nugget here for you. Do you know who knows best for you? It's not your partner, it's not your mama, it's not the three-legged dog down the street. It's you. But it's not your programmed you. It's not the programmed you that's still carrying the generational trauma. A lot of it's not even yours to carry. It's under that. It's your true self. It's your wise-ass motherfucker. It's your intuition. That knows what is best for you. So I want to share a little bit of my personal experience because it's going to lead into our next module. And let me just take you back to one of my earliest revelations about my own generational trauma. And some of you may really be able to relate to this. I was raised by a bitch-ass motherfucker, fierce, independent woman. She was born in 1940. She was incredible. She just was incredible. But I grew up hearing things like, Laurel Ann, don't ever rely on a man. Get as much education as you can because then you won't have to rely on men. You can't trust men. Now, I know some of you out there are cheering for my mama. You're like, yeah, your mama, she's a bitch-ass motherfucker. Yeah, independence, woman independence. Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay. Now, again, I don't play the blame game. I don't live in victimhood. I don't blame my mom for the programming. She did the best she could with what she had. But that generational programming and trauma I carried into my adulthood. And here's what it looked like. I was a fierce bitch-ass motherfucker as well. Independent, but it affected all of my relationships, and not in such a great way. I could not let people in. I built up a wall. I didn't trust other people, especially men. My self-reliance was like an armor, and I was proud of it. So it took the holistic scaffolding and wisdom wands to free myself from that programming, because it wasn't really serving me all that well. So you may be able to relate to my story, but you have your own. You have a lot of shit that you're carrying from generations that's not even yours to carry. Isn't it time for you to process it? Not with an expensive guru, not with years of therapy, not with pharmaceuticals. And again, I'm sharing my personal experience, not in the medical profession. But you can free yourself. I know that you can. So join me next time. We are going to walk through the entire holistic scaffolding framework and how that can help you take the recycled shit that you found in the recycled shit detector that you did, and how you can truly process that through your human and really let it go. Chipping away so you begin to know your true self and design a life for you, by you. Until next time, I love all you people. This is Laura Foster with Soul Healing Humanity.